What's up, black Christians? I'm sure there's like a white Christian right now who's like, why is it gotta be the black Christians? Yeah, it's just not for you. I mean, so it's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's like a men's conference or a women's conference. The dude don't show up at a women's conference like, why is it only for women Christians? It's like, listen, there's some distinctions. So what I wanted to say was, one, I wanted to encourage us. This is a unique time. It's a unique season. I believe that we have a unique opportunity in the midst of all this. I believe because of the firmness of our foundation of faith, we have something unique to offer in these times of racial unrest and injustice. It's a lot of things I want to cover, a lot of things I want to say, but I know people don't watch long videos, so I'm also going to be considerate of that as well. I guess the first thing I would say to us is that, racism is not bigger than eternal death, right? Racism is not worse than eternal death. And if Jesus beat death, he can beat racism. So on your worst day, just remember this has been beaten. Just remember during the transatlantic slave trade, during Jim Crow, redlining, water hoses and dogs, the assassination of our leaders, the tomb was empty. And so if the tomb is empty, that means that there is a divine plan and that it's already been beaten. And so you can rest your hope in that. As a matter of fact, you hoping in that should give you the inspiration to keep going and to keep pushing, because even if the worst comes your way, you know the tomb is empty. The other thing I say is this is don't be baited. Don't be baited into the trap of thinking that you are somehow less a Christian or you have had your faith corrupted because you care about lives outside of the womb and lives inside of the womb as well. Like, you don't have to choose a side. Whoever told you you got to choose a side is tripping. Black people, we are fluid. The white world only knows a portion of our brilliance because we wear the mask that grins and lies, right? So they don't even know the depths. Like I said on a panel, which I'm going to discuss with Louis Giglio, we're double read. We've read the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. We've read The Miseducation of the Negro, and we've read all of your books, which is another great segue. If you haven't read any great Christian thinkers, black Christian thinkers, those are two incredible. Carter G. Woodson, Miseducation of the Negro, the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. They navigate talking about, navigating racism and faith in both of those books. Frederick Douglass speaks on loving the Christ of the scriptures, but hating the Christ of the slave masters. It's a false form of Christianity. And so people are going to be blind to that. They're going to bait you in. They're going to tell you, you don't know what you're talking about. Tom Skinner, you know what I mean? If you don't know about Tom Skinner, check out Tom Skinner's books. Watch his YouTube video. Watch a video of him speaking at Urbana in 1970. It's phenomenal work. We have to know who we are. So before you can get into this racial reconciliation stuff that I think oftentimes we get lured into, you can't talk about conciliation for what somebody has done to you if you don't know how it's affected you. You don't know what you want. What do you want? You don't know, because you don't even know how you've been affected. And I'm speaking from personal experience. I did not know how steeped in white supremacy I was. So, which leads me to talking about the panel discussion with Louis Giglio, right? All right. So part of our temptation, my temptation, I won't speak for us all, but as black Christians, is that we're trying to lead in grace, lead in love, and sometimes it makes us accommodating. And we all know what accommodating is. You change the way you speak when you're around white people, or you turn off this music, you put on that music when you're around white people because they're the majority and you want them to feel comfortable in their environments. But you cannot accommodate sin, and racism is sin. And so me on that panel, I felt like we were on the same page. I don't know anybody's heart, but I do believe it was now a virtue signal. It was now an opportunity to say, hey, I care about this issue and I want people to know about it. So I got to have the black person in here to demonstrate that I care about this issue. And listen, it's not to say that, those individuals there don't love the Lord is just to say that this was they were short-sighted here. And so anyway, me being accommodating. Now, I'll be honest with y'all, I didn't even hear the slavery part. I really didn't. I kind of zoned out, and when I'm zoned out, I'll still be shaking my head yes, but I'm thinking of my next point. So I didn't hear the slavery part for real, because I probably would have tripped if I heard it. I probably would have felt a real bad way. But I did hear the white blessings, and I was like, can you change white privilege to white blessings? I don't think that's I'm uncomfortable with this, but I don't know how to deal with it. And I erred on the side of accommodation. I was wrong. I erred on the side of accommodation. I'm centering myself around the 500,000 white people that are watching and not thinking about the black people who don't have a voice, who need the representation. And I'm trying to course correct, but I'm only thinking about the white people in the room at the time, even though I'm trying to give facts. Now, here's the problem with that whole scenario. Number one, it's okay for white people to be sloppy with what they say and as they navigate trying to be educated, but it needs to be done behind closed doors. All right. Do this stuff in private. The whole world shouldn't have saw that. Number two, I shouldn't have been the only black person there. I should have said I can't do it because, it doesn't make sense for y'all to be educated, but it's two of y'all communicating and one of me, but it's an issue of like, hey, let's understand what's going on in black culture. So don't end up like me. Don't get lured into a situation. It's cool. I'm growing from it. And it's unfortunate that I always have to grow in the public eye, but it's all good. If you learn from my, failures, awesome. You know what I'm saying? The other thing that I would say to us is we got to know what we want. So some of us are accommodating and gracious and being led by love. We can't accommodate sin. Racism is a sin. Some of us want to rage and want to blow some stuff up. I've been on both sides of the spectrum. Okay. I know both emotions. But you can't, if you mad, you got to know what you want, right? Even the Panthers had a 10-point plan. What do we want? We have to know, because if you don't know what you want, you cannot tell your white brothers and sisters in the church how to walk in solidarity with you, because you don't even know what you after. We got to know what we're after, right? And if we don't know who we are, we don't know how we've been affected, we don't know how we need to grow and change, then we don't know what we want. So I have to say, find your sector. Maybe your sector's politics. Maybe your sector is programs. Maybe your sector is, education, the church. What do you want to see change there? And then challenge not only our people to fight for that, but challenge the allies. Say, hey, this is what is needed. And so, we got to be consistent on that and take care of that. End of the day, I just want us to know that we're not wrong for celebrating our blackness. We're not putting our blackness over our faith in the Lord. We're celebrating that he made us this way. We're celebrating the culture that he's given us. In the same way the Jews celebrate a Passover festival and celebrate their Jewishness. In the same way, the Japanese celebrate themselves. The problem for us is we've been so steeped in white supremacy, so steeped in the idea of American rugged individualism that we haven't thought collectively. We haven't realized that, yes, we are a body, all ethnicities, but within that body, we are a part, right? We're eyes or we're ears or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We haven't appreciated who we are, and that's why we struggle. Our history's been stripped from us. Our ethnicity, our racial identity, ethnic identity has been stripped from us, and so we're wrestling for that. So anyway, man, be encouraged. You know what I'm saying? The tomb is empty. Know who you are. Know whose you are. Jesus speaks to your humanity, your culture, ethnicities in the scriptures. Jesus was talking to a Samaritan woman. How do we know she's Samaritan? Why is it necessary to mention she's Samaritan? The Good Samaritan. Why is it necessary to mention that? Because ethnicities were recognized. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's beauty in that. And appreciate who you are. Appreciate your culture. Appreciate the brilliance that you bring to the table. Be double read. Read up. Understand who you are. There's some great black Christian thinkers. Do not be ashamed. Do not be baited into believing you got to choose a side. Man, we have chosen a side. It's the kingdom. And sometimes we got to choose kingdom over empire. Even when the empire is saying this is the law, this is how it goes. You got to be Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and say, I can't bow to that. I can't bow to that. You got to be Jesus and say, sorry, Rome, I can't bow to that. Because this ain't legit. We do not pledge allegiance to the nation before we pledge allegiance to God. I'm glad I'm an American. I'm not an anti-American, but I'm an anti-white supremacy. I'm an anti-white American nationalism, yes. And I'm pro-kingdom because the kingdom appreciates all people from all backgrounds and gives room for them to appreciate who they are and the unique way that God has created them to be. So, man, I love y'all. I hope y'all find encouragement. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep going. God bless y'all, man.